What's up, everybody? Master Reactor here, and today I have a replay versus a GOAT format Yugi tuber named YungDragon, or Dragon, I think. Maybe it's Dragoon. I think it's YungDragon. It's actually just YungDragon. But he's actually pretty cool. I was actually messaging him trying to play, so we actually just ran into each other on the ladder, so we're going to check the gameplay out to see what happened, see how the game went down, what plays we both made. If I can get Dueling Book to load here. Here we go, skip the intro. Hey, 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 don't you forget about me. Hey, 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 won't you? Alright, that's what it used to be, but I missed that intro on Dueling Network before I turned to Dueling Book. But here we go, we're going to Duel Records here. And it's right here. Yes, it's YungDragon. Okay, so let's check it out to see what happened. If this will load, come on. Okay, here we go. So, RPS, I throw paper, he throws scissors. So he gets me in the RPS right away. You hate to see it, but it is what it is. So let's see what went down here. And it's lagging like crazy. Okay, a lot of lagging in this game too. We kept disconnecting both of us. It was crazy. So he opens Deco, Wing Blast, Tsukiyomi, Sangen, Faith, and Delinquent Duo. Pretty nice hand for him. I've got Heavy, Knock, Night Assailant, Card Destruction, and Faith. His hand is pretty good, but I guess it could be a little better. But he does have at least one Trinity piece, so you'll love to see it. So we talk a little bit, say, ask him if he's streaming. He's not, but I am going to do the replay. So he hits me with a duo here, and now I'm just hoping that he picks the middle for this Night Assailant. But unfortunately, he picks Card Destruction, so that really hit me there. Because I could have threw out like Heavy and Knock or something and went for a card D play. So I decided to just throw out Faith as well. Maybe that wasn't the best play. Maybe I should have threw out Heavy. So he sets Sangen turn 1 and sets Wing Blast and passes. I draw into Snatch Steal for turn. So I have to just fire this knock here, go ahead and knock it, and decide to set Heavy and set Night Assailant and just pass. He draws into another Faith, so he's got double Faith, Deco, and Tsukiyomi. So he sets the Faith, and he passes. And I say anything, and he doesn't do anything, so I flip this Night Assailant, and I just pop. I drew Spy for turn, so I just set the Spy, and I just pass. He draws into Spy for turn, so that's pretty funny. We both drew Spy. He sets the Faith, and passes. And now he decides to use the Wing Blast on the set Spy, and I draw Sword for turn, so now I'm just sitting here like, oh, I can't do much here. I just pass. I didn't want to set Snatch Steal because I have this Heavy set, so I feel like it just wasn't the right play to do. Maybe I should have still set it, but I already seen a Faith, so I was like, what's the odds of having another Faith in his hand? But he did. So he flips the Faith, gets the duo on me, and he drew Book of Move return. So it's pretty much all but over with now. He summons the Tsukiyomi, and he puts down the Faith, and he runs over my Night Assailant, sets the Book of Moon, and passes. I draw into a Spy, which I knew I was going to draw. Decide to set the Spy and just pass. He draws into Heavy Storm, sets Deco and passes. I draw Mirror Force. I decide to flip the Spy here and get another Spy and decide just to run into the Faith. He grabs the duo back, and I attack his face down. It is a Deco, and he draws Sork, and I just set Mirror Force and pass because I know he has duo, so I can't. And he draws BLS return, so this is really nice for him. So he just fires his Heavy right away, getting rid of my Storm and my Mirror Force. That really sucked. He banishes the Dark, banishes the Light, and drops the BLS, and decides to just swing, bada, swing. Now, on this play here, I think he kind of misplayed a little bit. I feel like he decides to set the Tsukiyomi, but I guess like it did work out for him because if he would have just summoned it, but then he had the Sork anyway, so it's like even if I did top deck the BLS, which spoiler alert, I do top deck BLS here, so the only play I can do is just banish the BLS because I'm thinking this is Tsukiyomi set which I was dead on right at the time. So I have to just banish his BLS and maybe try to come back in this game somehow, but not looking good. He draws to a mind control, so it's just like curtains, nothing I can really do. And then he just drops a Sork on me, has the Dark and Light, banishes my BLS, and then it looks like he just sets a duo and passes. I draw in a Ring of Destruction, so I'm like, okay, this is a little bit better here. Maybe I can come back. Not. He's got advantage like crazy on me. I set the ring and just pass. He draws to a Kaiku, which again is a pretty good draw for him. He just goes right to battle phase, doesn't want to run into a torrential. And I decide just to ring the BLM into Sork because I have to. We both take 2,300, and he runs out this Kaiku, pretty much sealing the deal. But I didn't have a Dark and Light anyways, so it doesn't really matter. And I draw into a Wing Blast, so I think I'm pretty much dead. I set the Wing Blast and just pass, trying to bluff the Torrential. He draws into a Saku, which he's main decking, which isn't the worst decision, you know. Especially if you're running the Warriors, like, Saku's pretty damn good. Even if you don't, like, Saku's just all-around good card. Like, it's never going to be a neg. That's the best part about it. You're going to MST it. The only time it's going to be neg is if they summon Breaker, but that's the only time. Other than that, it's pretty damn good. So he runs into me for the 1,800. Banishing my Night Assailant and my Sork. And he sets the Saku, and he's just got complete control over this game. I draw into Solemn Judgment. There's really nothing I can do but just pass. I can't set it because I have the Wing Blast. He draws Upstart. He fires the Upstart. So now I'm like, okay, looks like I get a turn. I gain 1,000. He disconnects. He draws to a knock, so now it's even better for him. He hits me for the 18. I have to just Wing Blast this to put it back on top. And I draw into a Thunder Dragon, and that is the game. So he gets me game 1. So game 2, I think I just say screw it. I might board like a Kaiku in or something, or a Mind Control, but I'm pretty sure I just say screw it and just run back game 2. I usually do that. If I lose game 1, I usually just say run the shit back. You're going to beat me again when I go first. Let's see what happens. So, alright, I open Book of Moon, Night Assailant, Thunder Dragon, Fate, and Chaos Sork, and I draw into a Breaker. So, a lot of brown here, a lot of Mons, but still pretty okay, decent. Not really that great of a hand, but we're going to have to let it work. So, he opens Heavy, Wing Blast, Mind Control, MST, and Upstart Goblin. So, he's got all spells and one trap, so no monsters, and I got all the monsters that I need. So, I discard this Thunder Dragon and grab 2 more. And decide to set Book of Moon and set Faith and just pass. He draws to a Deco, which is pretty nice for him. So he decides to just shotgun this MST, gets my Book of Moon, and then he fires the Mind Control. And he flips it up, or he upstarts. So I thought he was going to, he upstarts into Kaiku. I thought he was going to flip and get the upstart back with Faith here. But he decides to flip it. I guess he was looking for like a Pot of Greed or a Duo or something like that with the upstart. So he decides to just get Mind Control, which I guess is fine, but... And he sets Deco and sets Wing Blast and just passes. I draw into Tsukiyomi, which is, I guess, okay, I guess. So I decide to just run Tsukiyomi out and put the Faith down and flip it back up and grab my Book of Moon back. And I just go right to battle and swing at his Deco. He does not Wing Blast. So that gets destroyed, and he draws. He draws in a Night Assailant. And I get him for 300 here. And have to set Book of Moon, and I just pass. He draws to a Breaker, which is pretty nice, so he runs the Breaker out, and I have to just Book of Moon the Breaker right away. It's like, why not? I draw into a Deco, which is pretty bad, but I decide just to run Tsukiyomi out, flip it up again, grab the Book of Moon, go to battle, swing bada, and he does not use Wing Blast again. I don't know why he didn't Wing Blast there. That was probably a misplay. I would have definitely Wing Blasted and grabbed the Deco back. Because now you have value with the Night Assailant. So that's like the misplay number 2 I've seen him make so far this match. But it is what it is though. So I set Book of Moon and just end, and I discard the Thunder Dragon because I got all Mons. He draws into a Thunder Dragon of his own. So he pitches the Thunder Dragon to grab 2 more. And now he decides to just set Night Assailant and just pass. So I draw into MST. So I decide just to shotgun this MST here. I don't know if that really was the best play I could have made. But he does decide to chain it and put my Moth back on top. So I'm fine with that. I decide to just run this deco out and just get swinging here. And it is a Night Assailant, so we just trade there. Alright, not that bad for me. Looking pretty good right now at the moment. He's got 5. I've got 6, going to 7 per turn. He draws into a Sword, which does suck pretty much. But I also have Dark and Light, so I'm just ready for it. He fires the Heavy Storm on me, which sucks. He runs out Kaiku, hits me for the 1800. And he sets the Mind Control as a bluff and passes. So now I'm looking pretty nice here because I can just summon this Breaker and hopefully it is Mind Control. So I do just go for that read. I run over his Breaker and then main phase 2 I get rid of his Mind Control, which is pretty nice, and I get rid of his Kaiku. But of course he draws to another Kaiku, so alright. Gotta deal with the Kaiku again. He runs the Kaiku out and now he decides to drop the Sork on me, get in for the 700 first, and then the 800, 1800 I mean. So, and then he banishes my Breaker and my Thunder Dragon. So now I know he has Thunder Dragon in hand, and that's it. And he passes, I draw into Solemn Judgment, which is really nice. So now I decide to just run Tsukiyomi out and decide to put the Kaiku down. And he thinks I'm just going to run it over, but instead I run into his Sork. And I drop my Sork to banish his Sork. And I set Solemn Judgment and I just pass. He draws into Pot of Greed. He tries the Pot of Greed and I just say, nope, not going to happen. Clutch, only play 1 Solemn Judgment in the deck and it just perfectly drew it there. That was really nice. So I solemn his pot, put me at 1750. He flips Night Assailant. He flips Kaiku, not Night Assailant, and he just passes. I draw into Mirror Force, which again is pretty nice for me. So I just decide to switch the Soul to attack mode and run over his Kaiku. And I set Fate and set Mirror Force and just pass. He draws to a Mind Control. So he decides to Mind Control. Now this I think was a misplay because I think he knew I had Faith because I put it back on top. So I don't know why he wanted to just Mind Control this Sork here. He could have definitely just Mind Controlled this Faith, flipped it up, and then got Mind Control back or something and made me ruin my Faith so I didn't have Faith effect. So he decided just to go for Sork here. So that was misplay number 3. YungDragon, just my opinion. So he banishes the Sork and just passes. I draw into a deco here. So I flip the Faith and I grab Book of Moon. And I get in for the 300. And I set the Book of Moon and I set the deco and I just pass. He draws to a Spy, which is pretty nice for him. He sets the Spy and passes. I draw into Pot of Greed, which is really nice for me because now I'm going to flip his deco. I draw into Ring of Destruction. I fire the Pot of Greed into Wing Blast and Torrential. And then I Book of Moon the Faith, flip it up, get another Pot of Greed, draw into Regeki Break and Sangan. So now it's just like, let's freaking go. We got the whole freaking caboose. We got everything going good. Heavy Storms in Graveyard. It's looking lovely right now. So I decide just to switch my deco to defense. I don't know if I could have done that. Was I allowed to do that? I'm not really sure. Maybe I already flipped out this turn. I think I might have. Yeah, I think I fucked out on it. But it's fine. Shit happens. So I decided to set my entire hand. Mirror Force, Regeki Break, and Torrential because Heavy is gone. And I just pass. And decide to just Regeki Break his monster right away. And I pitch the Wing Blast. And he draws to a knock. He knocks my Night Assailant. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I draw into Heavy Storm, which is pretty dead for me, but I run out to Sangan, get him for 2700, putting him on like a 2-turn clock about, and I just pass. He draws into Torrential Tribute, which is pretty dead at the moment, unless I happen to like want to summon a monster. I don't really think I'm gonna want to, unless I want to get real greedy. So I draw Snatch Steel, so it's not a monster. Even if I wanted to, I didn't draw one. So I'm just going to switch my Faith the defense, get in for the 2400, and I just go for it right here, Ring of Destruction. That is the game. So we will go on to game 3. Got him with the ring there. Let's see what happens game 3. He gets to go first. He opens BLS, Knock, Thunder Dragon, Kaiku, and Sork. And I just sacked the shit out of him this game. Like, there was nothing he could really do. He draws Upstart for turn. He discards a Thunder Dragon. There was just, like, no way in hell he could possibly win this game. Like, this shit was just sick as hell. So he draws Snatch Steal. He runs out Kaiku and just passes, I think. So now let's see. My hand, I've got Pot, Upstart, Book of Moon, Snatch, and Mind Control. And I draw Graceful for turn. So it's like, oh my goodness. So I fire the Upstart. I draw into BLS. So it's like, alright, let's go. That's another good one. I fire Pot of Greed. And I draw Thunder Dragon and Tribe. And it is just curtains now because I just discard. I said I was thinking you were going to sack me, but I am sacking you. LOL, sacking him big time here. If you got Charity, I'll cry. I said bring on the tears. LOL, sorry. So I fire the Graceful into Upstart, Wing Blast, and Spy. I discard both Thunder Dragons. I fire another Upstart. I draw into Sangan here. So I fire the Snatch Steal. And I get in for the 1800. Banish in his Thunder Dragon. And decide to set the Sangan as a bluff. And I set Book of Moon. And I just pass. He draws into a Saku, which is like really not going to help him that much, but I guess it's something. So he fires the Knock, so I'm like, okay, that's some bait. I like to see it. Go ahead and banish the Sangan. He sets Saku and just passes. I draw into another Mind Control, so I'm like, alright, let's fucking go. Mind Control on deck here. Yeah. So I just go right to battle, I think. Or no, I decide just to summon Spy. I do this because I don't care if he Torrentials really, and I don't really care if he Mirror Forces. It's like, is what it is. And I don't really want to get mind controlled and shit, so, and I want him to bring out his BLS and his sword, because I have these mind controls and shit, and I have Tribe. So he decides to Saku the Kaiku, which is really nice for me, because he used Kaiku and Saku, and I only use Snatch. So I get a nice little +1 there. And I get him for the 1200, putting him at 7,000. And I just pass with Book of Moon set. I guess he forgot to gain his 1,000. He draws into a Magician of Faith for turn. So he decides to set the Faith and just pass. And this is where it gets real nasty here. Because I fire the Mind Control. And I take the man's Faith. And he just says GG, but he doesn't scoop, so he makes me play it out, which is fine. So I flip the Fate, I grab Graceful here, I draw into Solemn, Knock, and Faith of my own. So it's like, alright, this is just the fucking nuts here. So I decide to discard the Knock and discard the Jar of Greed. And I go to battle and get in for just the 1200. And I set Wing Blast, and I set Solemn, and I set Faith, and I just pass. He draws into MST, and he shotguns the MST and hits my Solemn, so I'm just like, okay, that was a good hit for you. You got me. He leaves, and then comes back. He tributes the Faith for a Thunder Dragon, and he goes to battle, I think. And I take the 400, and for some reason he just passes. I don't know why he didn't main phase 2 at least try to drop the BLS there. That was probably like a misplay as well, because now it's just complete game. Like, this game is just over. This turn right here, it's GG. So I'm thinking if I can get the game off, so I flip Faith, go ahead for the Graceful again. I draw Night Assailant, Ring, and Chaos Sork. So that is indeed game. I discard the Night Assailant and the Sork, so I can have the 2 Darks engraved. I summon Tribe, I drop BLS, and I drop Sork, and that was like 7,200 or 7,700. Plus I had Ring, It was just fucking nasty. That was just a nasty ass turn there. And he had all the fucking goods in his hand. He had Snatch, VLS, Sword. He had it all in his hand, but he did not get another turn. So that is the replay versus YungDragon. We finally got to play a match, and it was on the ladder, so that's one for me. We'll be playing again. Maybe I'll do another replay if we do play again. Maybe it won't be on the ladder, so... But, what do y'all think about that video there? And, like always, please hit the like, hit the sub. If you want to go to Subway, you get a sub. If you ain't got no teacher and you need a substitute, no, I'm just playing. But y'all have a good day or night. Peace out. Pot of greed.